Hey, it's Natalie from Sete Design. I'm here. I have a new cup, a new mug, and I have espresso, Italian espresso, a little hot water, milk, honey, and cinnamon. And it's pretty delicious. So in a minute, I'm going to show you the tour of my new home in Italy. I have not worked on it as much as I would like to because I've been starting my painting business over here and trying to get all that organized. And it's been a big project, really, opening a business in Italy. So it got me thinking because I couldn't film it right away because it was too much of a mess. And it got me thinking about, what a mess I am. And I think there's an interesting dichotomy as artists, how we should be a mess, but also we need our spaces to be at least visually clear because it opens up space to create. When I was a child, I was obsessed with design, and my mother, who also had a beautiful eye for design, one day asked me, and later she would tell this story, but later one day she said, what do you think, Natalie, I could do to make our home more pretty? And I said, well, you could clean it. And, she took that advice to heart and would later quote me about, just freaking clean up your house a little bit. At least get rid of the clutter. So I have cleaned up my house for you. I do want to say it really is usually a big mess. But after I cleaned it up, I just felt so good. And I feel so good now. And right away, I had the space to put tables together and start creating a huge canvas, which is something I wanted to do for a long time. And so I want to encourage you as a creative person to think about, creating your space, cleaning it up, but also do not start your day cleaning. You want to start your day doing something special for yourself, not cleaning. Like waking up and starting to clean is a big waste of that first hour of the day. So find your own balance between, keeping a space beautiful and also giving time to yourself to create. If you find yourself in your creative zone, stopping and going to clean, or, even do laundry or wash dishes, don't do it. Stop it. Give yourself time to create and time to clean. Don't mix the two, is my advice. So here we go. Here's the tour. Hope you like it. I also want to just say I'm so happy here. It's all my dreams coming true. I literally just walk around in a daze. I'm so happy. If you too are hoping to get your dream home or buy your dream home sometime, it will happen. It might already be on its way. Believe in yourself. I think my microphone just broke, so I'm back to no microphone. Here, let's talk design. Look how a mirror adds light. Such a simple design idea, right? So now I'm getting a double reflection of my cloud, 2 clouds. I love that. Now, this is the room that is almost the prettiest view. Here's the green room. And ready? How's that for a bathroom? And I love the black tiles. So the bathroom needs to be redone, but I don't want to spend my money on that right now as I need to work on the balconies and do the electrical. But look at the blue tile and the blue mountains. And Yeah, so there was a leak there, not in my time. Problems with the walls, staining. If you're old to my channel, you know these problems that still have not been resolved. And we have an electrical right in the shower. That's where the shower should be. In Italy, they put the little, tube up there and hang it on the wall. Okay, this is morning light in the sage green room, sage green and fuchsia pink, coral fuchsia pink ceiling. Some people see it as red, which is weird to me, but I like to create little vignettes of beauty that bring me peace. Now here is that mirror, which you saw the reflection of the clouds in. And this is an old door, an armoire door that I found on the street. It's very heavy. And I like that. Well, first one, it's in the ingresso. And so there's a little beautiful reflection of that area where I keep my keys. And I just think it's a good way to make the house seem bigger than it is. Here's a look at the marble terrazzo floor, which is busy. I think it needs maybe a rug to absorb a little bit of that design. Maybe not in the ingresso, but in my studio, which is there. And here's the scene, which, I'm always trying to work with energy. So you can have movement here, which is light movement. That's a little lamp that I need to work on the electrical. Look how short it is, and redo it probably. And then I love to put flowers in a glass, kind of like in a vase, sort of like a terrarium. Here I've got my foo dog, and this is an abstract painting I did recently, which I love. I'm happy with it. Here's one of the clouds, a dark cloud, and then look. So you can get the reflection in that mirror. It's just fun to play with the space. A mirror can feel like a window. There I've got my window, and then the mirror is also like a window. Here's my little kitchen, which I love. It feels so intimate now that I built this kind of countertop, which is still not assembled. This way I can move it around until the kitchen's more decided upon. And I took some wood and put it on top of the washing machine, which is not attached yet. Anyways, my intention is eventually to take at least all or some of this tile down But design tip again is bring some greenery from outside in. This is an old wine bottle, I think. Maybe it's Prosecco. And I have my dried flowers. Yeah, my daughter Lucia made that. I love it in the old frame. Some antique glasses. And I think eventually I will paint this cabinet. What I don't have is any cabinetry or space for dishes. The dishes are there. There's just not enough space. Fiori di campo, I guess it is. Look at how pretty that is. A simple little vase on a marble table. It's just gorgeous. And here's my money tree doing very well. So it really is lovely to have the table here by the window. And you can see the mountains outside. They're working on the garden below. Look, here's the view of the wall. See, they're doing all the planting down there. Now, if I take the tile down, then this wall might be fun to paint some kind of motif on, you know, because it's quite large, really. We'll see. The kitchen needs to be thought out, and I'm not feeling rushed about it, but it just is. I find that when I have the table now by the window, I just want to go there and make a little cup of coffee and sit. My priority right now is to work on my business. The best new addition, here's our bedroom, the best new addition to the house is this little baby. Oh, it's an air plant. And look at that. It's like what I draw. Like I literally have paintings with this in it. And I didn't even know it existed. Just, okay, maybe I should have it a little bit. I moved it out of the sun because it doesn't want direct sun. I mean, look at that little scene. And we have some tulips falling. Another cloud. Here's a chair, which, okay, I might throw it away later, but I just painted the plastic, which with a metallic blue-green. But I think for a crappy old desk chair, it's pretty cool. Here's another little piece I painted. And I love it because it's got sort of a hidden drawer. And that's dry brush over grays, different grays, and silver leaf. So I don't have a bookshelf yet. I don't want to seem like I'm complaining because I am so happy waking up in this room. The light comes streaming in there, and also here in the summer it gets too hot and I have to put up the curtains. The serrande, or the shutters, need work. This wall needs work, all that mold. But I mean, I'm just so happy here. I literally walk around, stay up too late, wake up too early, just so I can be in this space and enjoy that it's mine, you know. And I worked for 40 years to try and get to this point. And I always worked on everyone else's house with love and not envy, and just with the joy of being able to transform spaces when I was painting other people's homes, and still am. Now, here's a quote from Muhammad Ali. "I am an ordinary man who worked hard to develop the talent I was given." Of course, he was a poet and a genius also, but I just think that's so inspirational. And here's my little baby girls when they were little. Now they're grown up and living in Milan. And here's one I did of Elisa years ago, which some people found disturbing. So the problem with Italian homes is that there's no closets. See how there's no closet? So, you know, it's a problem. Like, where does the stuff go? I have a big fundo, a big garage space that I'm going to turn into my paint studio down below. This, I think, is a fun design idea. I just have sawhorses and shutters. So these are shutter doors that go on the inside. In Italy, you can get these are like, they're the inside of the house and you close it down, and it's a great way to have privacy. This is fun. I actually painted on the other side of it. There. Yeah. So I've painted in like her kind of on the door panel. But right now I flipped it around and used it as a rustic tabletop. So also, I think this is an arrowhead, which I found in California. You can see that. And this is just a piece of architecture that I found on the street here in Italy. And I believe when you keep old items, pieces of antiquity around, that it can be energy of knowledge and understanding of the world. I've kind of cheated because I've waited for the evening sun to come into the studio so it would look more pretty for you. But normally the front part of the house, the bedrooms, will have the sun in the morning, and then the studio, the sun in the evening. And in the winter, the sunset doesn't even come in here. So here's my studio table where I do my painting, and this is where I let the paintings dry. There's my work stuff, and I try to do a little scene of inspiration for myself. There's the sunset. I can't express how happy I am to be in this space and to have a big space. You know, so many times I didn't have a big space to work in. And then this is sort of a temporary bed that we brought in at Christmas time, which will go away soon. But I love the corduroy. I made this comforter years ago. And it's like a thin corduroy, and then with the damask, the green motif. I thought that was sort of a cool combo. And it goes nicely with this painting. Later, I'll bring in the art, more of the art like this that isn't mine. I think I'll have probably a whole, like the foyer area will be for a whole mix of art and mirrors. So, of course, still working down there. Spectacular views, the sunset. And now we'll go out to the balcony, but it's very windy today. I can't wait to work on these doors. See how I have double doors? It's great for the wind and to keep the space a little warmer. But I think that eventually, and I haven't even done it yet because I've got to work on them, but this can open up the whole space. 3 doors opening up. So sorry for the machinery noise, maybe I'll cut that out. Sunset. Finally, no rain. And the balconies need to be lifted up. But it's actually quite a big space. I don't know if you can tell. Like, I think I could put a couple chairs or a couch out here. Rain like silver leaf. Okay, get ready for the full arch. Woo! And that's why it's called Seven Design, Sete Design, for the 7 colors of